Hello, and welcome back to Password. We're gonna meet Benny Boy with Thanatos. I love the Thanatos adventures. I don't know, they're so much fun. This was the last place I'd seen Benson enter, and sure enough, there he was.
Done already.
You were waiting for us to finish?
At the behest of Oswin. He believed things might get a bit complicated, and figured he'd spare me the need to play mediator.
Oh, it wasn't so bad, really. Thanatos crawled from my shoulder, down my arm closest to the counter, and started to look around the kitchen, seemingly letting me have free reign.
It begs the question where Oswin is now, though.
You weren't listening in?
Now that wouldn't be very polite, would it?
Well, Roswell explained his life circumstances.
It's alright, Dave. I'm aware of how little time Roswell has left.
Oh, okay.
Now, I believe you had something you wished to ask me.
How do you know? He glanced across at Thanatos before returning his eyes to me.
Oswin, along with other contributing factors, raised it as a potential outcome for today.
I'm sorry. We can avoid it if you want.
No. It's quite alright. Although, I do wonder how much you'll get from it.
The three of us headed back into the dining room, and I dropped Thanatos back onto the table as I looked around, wondering how best to start.
To clarify, you wanted to see what we can find out from what you saw in the vault regarding my death, yes?
Right.
Well then, let's see what you remember.
It's been a while, but I found my eyes trailing to the floor, or right where I remembered Benson lying dead. It happened right here, right where you're standing, although. Well, obviously you were on the ground, dead.
May I have the cause of death?
Gunshot wound.
Where?
In the dining room.
In the head, Benny boy.
Oh, right. Your, right temple. Benson looked around the room, slowly scanning the room with a frown. Would it help if I gave you more details?
Please.
So, there was a gun in your left hand. You were kind of just sprawled out on the ground on your side. There's not really more I can go over, because I really only have fragments to go with.
Describe the gun to me.
Big, silver.
Like a cowboy gun?
Yeah.
A revolver. Interesting.
Why is that interesting?
Well, that would be Oswin's gun. He was slated to clean it that night, as I'd been putting it off.
Oh, I was slated to be cleaning it, okay.
But with everyone searching the place for the gun, I figured I wouldn't casually do it in the dining room table, once everyone had turned it.
Why would you clean it? Why would you need to clean it?
Proper gun maintenance is important, lest you run the risk of injury when you actually need it.
Huh, I guess that's understandable. It'd be why you wash your brushes after you finish painting.
Painting? Really?
Well, I don't kill anyone, or I don't kill people or use guns. I don't know these things.
It does raise an interesting possibility, however.
In what way?
Quite simply, why was I holding Oswin's gun? And in my left hand, no less.
You were cleaning it, right?
I was. But why would I not use my own?
Presumably because you didn't have to?
A fair assumption, but there are other problems. Notably, if I were to be shot in the head with Oswin's revolver, chances are there'd be a significant part of my head, well, missing. A detail you omitted from your recount.
Oh, well, your head was there.
Thanatos, how much of this event do you know?
Why do you want to know?
Fine. Remain unhelpful.
Thanatos, you wanted me to look into this.
Fine. It's as Benson is getting at. He wasn't shot with the gun you found him with. Which leaves us one other gun that I keep loaded. Mine.
There aren't any other guns in the house?
There are, but kept under lock and key, unloaded, and in my private quarters behind another locked door.
That's a lot of locks.
That's called proper weapon storage.
Where are the keys? You have them, right?
They are safe, yes.
Okay, good.
So my immediate thought was that either someone brought their own weapon or used mine.
But why would you hand over your own gun?
Good question. We can rule out any outside interference.
How can you be sure?
No one entered the house that night. Only people in the house are those you're aware of already.
A chill ran down my spine, and I looked to Benson.
We can't verify that unless we put blind faith into him.
All I can tell you is that, over my lifetime, those that you might think would show up don't. Not until, well, after we're past that point.
What do you mean the person that did it was either, well...
Pay him no mind, Dave.
He seemed thoughtful as he pieced together what he wanted to say next. A frown formed.
Osmond's revolver in my left hand is problematic, as I'm right-handed.
You wouldn't have just swapped hands?
And why would I do that?
For fun?
I treat my gunplay quite seriously.
Oh, he's a gamer.
I might be past my prime, but I still have my muscle memory. Should the situation arise, granted my headspace needed to be right for it.
So, why was it in your left hand?
Planted, most likely, by the assailant.
I don't think I follow. You're saying someone showed up, took your gun while you were cleaning Oswald's, shot you, then planted Oswald's gun in your hand for what reason?
Potentially to make it look like a suicide, although clumsily at best, it seems.
Thanatos, something to add?
Why are you asking me?
You probably know the scene better than I remember. Plus, you likely know who did it too.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Then who? I look across to Benson, but he seemed to be staring into space, stiff as a board. Something has dawned on him, and the corner of his mouth were being pulled back, tense. Benson?
It's nothing.
That's a lie.
Quiet, you.
What? We were making good progress, I thought. The next words out of Benson's mouth was almost a croak, but he recovered soon after, unfortunately not fast enough for me not to notice.
Very good progress.
What? Did I miss?
Benson figured it out.
Wait, really? That's great.
No, it's really not.
Because?
Forgive me, but I cannot disclose who committed the deed. From what we know, I can only think of one person who, interrogating, would get us nowhere.
Why?
Cause if it never happened, what are they going to confess to?
Oh, but that...
This is something I need to discuss with them at a later date.
I looked between Roswell and Benson, Thanatos and Benson quickly, and the three of us quiet. Can I be honest?
Of course.
I'm really tired of this whole everyone having big realizations without telling me. You do it, Oswin does it, Thanatos has done it too.
Have not.
You have. You might not register it as it, but it's annoying that people seem to be in on some secret that I'm legitimately trying to figure out, figure things out, and help, but people just don't want to share.
Then what would you have me do?
Tell me who it is. Then at least that'd be a lead or something to figure out what's going on. If we can't trust Thanatos, but we can Wait, Thanatos. But we can sometimes. But then what can we put... But what we can put faith in, what you say. What does that leave us? Where does that leave us?
It leaves us in a very difficult position, Dave.
Then how do we fix it?
Perhaps it's best I put, if I frame it this way. Do you know whom I am most loyal?
Oswin, obviously, right?
Yes, and no. More specifically, I give my loyalty to the Hamden family, in order of seniority.
Okay.
Of the current members of the family, Oswin is the one that sits as the family's head, as it were. But should another family member be present, well, that may change.
Florencia ain't here anymore, in other words.
Sure, okay. But how does that affect, what we're talking about now?
Because should Oswin, want something kept quiet, that requests that of me, to a fault I will obey.
But why? What if they go after Oswin next? What if they come for someone else? You holding on to who you think it is just puts all of us at risk, doesn't it?
I respect that you are upset about my decision, but I assure you that I'm not budging.
But the others. Benson put up a hand, shaking his head.
Two unknown assailants. I'll be of little help, anyway. In this instance, the best I can do is bring it up with Oswin, and you are more than welcome to do the same.
I groaned, rubbing my face. Okay, fine, I get it. Leaning on the table, I looked down at the floor, where Benson was dead in my vision. So, Oswin knows who it is.
I would assume he has a fairly good idea. But, certainly, in these times, it's assured.
Okay.
Oi.
What?
Hey, don't need to get a attitude with me. I have good news.
What's the good news?
You got a few days of breathing room at least.
Before another Volt Vision? Thanatos looked towards Benson, then back to me.
Potentially. But worry about it later. You need a break.
No, just tell me now. May as well.
No, take a break. I'll be seeing you later. Oswin might want a chat later, so I'll be in the lab to listen in.
In your cage?
What do you take me for?
He scurried off after that towards the foyer, and then out of sight.
I'm sorry, Dave.
Huh?
I'm not as spry as I once was. Were things different, well.
I nodded slowly. He's keeping watch. Been tolling on you. Has keeping watch been tolling on you? That's
Thankfully, truthfully, yes. I wish to return to a regular sleeping schedule soon. But that would mean, assuming we wish for a surveillance around the clock, others will need to stay up, among other things.
Once more, I nodded and kicked the floor lightly. I'll try and bring it up with the others. See what we can do about starting tonight.
Thank you. What are you intending to do now?
After the chat at breakfast, I might go see how everyone else is holding up.
Very well. I wish you the best of luck.
Leaving the dining room, I rubbed my head, wondering where the others had ended up, and after everything went down, if I was honest to myself, I felt a bit lost, and wouldn't mind talking things out with someone else. Looking around, I wonder where Thanatos had run off to, and assumed it would have been downstairs. The others, however, could be anywhere. I wandered around the house for a bit, sticking to the floor I was on before deciding to head upstairs and see if anything interesting was happening up there. I approached the rec room and stuck my head in, seeing Ty and Haas sitting on the beanbags, quietly chatting. Haas had his face in his hands, and Tyson was unsure of what what to do, what to really be doing. You guys okay? Ty looked up and gestured me to come over before turning back to Haas.
We're good. Yeah.
You sure? Excuse me.
Just working through the news. Yeah. Well, hosses anyway.
Oh, about
Yeah, about that.
Nodding slowly, I turn a spot on the floor and rested my hand in my pocket, not really sure what to say or do.
How are you holding up?
Me? Oh, fine, I guess. Well, I guess it's less fine and more just in shock, or not really knowing if it's real.
That's where
I'm at. I get that it's a thing, but his delivery needs some work.
How else is he meant to tell us?
I don't know.
But what are we meant to do with that information?
But then he turned to me with a frown, looking me over.
And you actually promised what he asked.
I had to.
Don't think you needed to do shit. If that's what he's asking, then hell, I'll make that promise too.
Dude, you understand what he's asking us, right?
It doesn't matter if it makes the most sense. It's messed up. Imagine if it was Dave asking you that.
Ty's ears immediately drooped, and he slumped, keeping to himself.
So, like, he's right. Worst case scenario, he saves us the decision-making process, but I sure as hell don't feel good about it.
What would the alternative be?
Don't think there is one, is there? If shit hits the fan, then we just deal with it. Or, I guess we know what we're doing already.
Yeah, I guess so. Ty reached out for me, and I shuffled so I was closer. He put an arm around me, and then pressed his nose into my head, with his other hand still on Haas's shoulder.
So, I get what's going on between you two. So, when are you going to tell everyone else?
You knew already?
I had a good idea from that alone. From what?
You nuzzling Dave like that.
Plus, you're way more relaxed with him with him here with us than what I've assumed otherwise. So sue me.
Go on, tell me about your boyfriend. Ty grumbled, and his grip on me tightened, but I could tell that he was starting to blush based on his color, was shifting ever so slightly in his ears.
You knew everything about him already. Mostly, anyway.
You told him about me?
Yeah, why not?
So, Tyson finally asked you out. Sort of.
You're not going to make this weird, are you, Top Cat?
Not unless you tell your boyfriend you love him.
Dude.
You don't have to, Ty. It's fine.
Of course I love him.
If I'd asked you this a few days ago, you would have taken half an hour to admit that.
Yeah, well, things change.
Next, you're going to kiss him in front of me, as if you have zero issue with that. Again, Ty's grip on me tightened, and he thinks it over.
That's not up to me.
I think it is, if a little bit, right? I'm not going to force it, but I am very much digging this reaction you're having. Oh, Haas, you're so mean. It's fun. So, you're feeling better at least now, Haas?
It's taking some getting used to. It's soured the trip a little more, knowing what's around the corner for a friend is all.
Yeah?
So what? We're meant to worry about what happens next? Or what?
Maybe not worry about it, but I guess just keep it in mind. And then when it happens, we be sad.
That's overly simplistic. Like there's an alternative.
It's untreatable, right? So that's that. That's it. We can't, do anything about it.
Awfully defeatist of you, Dave, but you've got a point. All we can do is just make sure he's comfortable. At the same time, we have to deal with the guy in the woods. Are they still out? Are they even still out there?
Not worth the risk, is it?
Guess not. If the road is fucked, then they aren't getting off the mountain either. Unless there's another way out. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Nodding slowly, I leaned back on Tyson, and leaned back, and Tyson got up to head over to the TV. What are you doing?
I want to watch anime.
Anytime.
Yeah, sure. You staying for anime, Dave?
I think I'll see what the others want. Orlando seemed pretty shaken up, but shaken up about it all. And if he's not here, then well,
right. I don't know where he went. Just run off before I did, but he headed upstairs when he left. If that helps.
If he's in the mansion at least, thanks. I'll see you guys later.
If you need us, we'll be here.
Okay. I'll wait, with a nod I set off, leaving them to their anime. Okay. It seems at least for the time being, they were holding the things together. But that just makes me wonder how Orlando was doing without someone to talk him through things. Yeah, okay. I'll end the part here. I'll see you around, everyone.